You know, the more awake you are, the more you will realize the amount of darkness in which humanity is trapped in. And this causes problems all over the planet. And it's like before awakening, you just accepted it. You felt like something's wrong. It's not right, but you cannot explain it. You cannot touch it. It's like it's just the way it is. You don't know anything else. You wouldn't know how, if there would be any other way to live, if there's even the possibility to have a different kind of reality. And the more you observe your own ego and your own behaviors, the more you can see the behaviors and egos of others. So it's impossible to be triggered by another person, because you can see how the ego, or Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body, how it activates before they attack you. So it's not personal, it's just you see this person clearly doesn't have him or herself in control. It's not in control in the way that you have to control it, but this person cannot observe him or herself. And this is the darkness that I'm speaking of. Because of this darkness, people are constantly in war with themselves, believing themselves to be an image, and they are in war with the world because they have all sorts of images about the world. And that's the darkness. What is darkness? Darkness is actually just the illusion of thoughts. It's like you have invented a concept about something that cannot be explained, which we call objects. For example, when you're looking at a wall, I don't know why I'm always referring to walls, but it's a wall right here. So you look at it and you don't know what it is. So you invent a word, wall, and now you think you know what you're talking about. And we are living in this world of concepts, but concepts are just ideas, and what you think about yourself is also, it's not real, it's just a concept, but you believe it's real, and therefore we are living in division. And almost everybody is living in this division. And it creates conflict, because when you are telling me, for example, that I'm an asshole, I can only be triggered and reactive to your words if I would have an image about myself that consists of illusions. Once you can clearly see this, then you know the root cause of all problems. You know, like a year ago, I was really asking myself. I was with a friend, and I was just going to the kitchen getting some water. But as I was getting some water, I was having this thought. It's like, isn't there just one problem that we can solve, and then it's like the root of all problems, and once we can just eliminate this root of all problems, then all the other problems would just disappear. You know, what's this problem? I just kind of felt that there's like this one problem. It's suffering itself. Why do we feel like we have to protect ourselves constantly? Why can we only feel sort of safe when we are home alone? It's like always this tension there, something telling us that we have to protect ourselves. It's a dangerous, cruel world, and because of this fear, we behave like we are cruel. Like, because of fear, we behave in ways that cause all the conflict. The fear of conflict is causing the conflict. That's why we can never really solve the conflict, because we are still tapping in fear. And I was asking myself, why am I feeling this fear? There's no problem, but it's like it's here. And then I was thinking, and then I don't know how I came to this thought, but my conclusion was, I feel like I'm suffering because I exist. It feels like I'm existing. At that time, I didn't know what it meant. I just told my friend, what do you think about it? And she was like, I agree, totally. I feel like I exist, and therefore I feel like I have to protect something. So, and to me, it sounded like, yeah, that's a fact. I do exist. Now, obviously, I know that I was just talking about this I exist. I was referring to a image in the mind. At that time, I was really talking, I thought that this was real. This is me, and I feel like I have to protect this. Now I know that the thing that I was trying to protect is a self-image. And I have to protect the self-image that I was identifying with from the images that I had of the world. So I had to go back and find out what meditation meant, because I fell into unconsciousness for years, and took me a long time to rediscover what actual meditation is. Therefore, I was consuming all these videos and books and trying to what's meditation, and they were talking about it. They were pointing at the moon, but I was only seeing the finger. And now it's absolutely clear that you just have to observe your ego without trying to improve yourself. So when you are seeing through the illusion of your own ego, you can see through all egos. And you can see the potential of a better world. That if everybody would treat meditation like it is something normal, just like brushing your teeth every day, and real meditation, not this method to improve yourself, but real meditation, just observing yourself, then we would have a different world. It would be a different world. So, and there would be no such thing as darkness. I realized that, when the Bible was talking about God and the devil is actually just this unobserved mind, which is causing all this self-image that could be attacked, and therefore is trying to fight against the images that the person is having of the world, and is creating war and division, split in consciousness, and therefore sickness and death. But if you're observing your darkness, and I mean all of your beliefs, your thoughts, and you simply do not believe in them anymore, then that's just the light shining on the darkness, the darkness is the ego. So you are looking at your self-image. So God is looking at the devil. It's like consciousness is looking at unconsciousness. And then whatever becomes conscious dissolves. And then also your conditioning that was programmed into your system by society will just dissolve. And then this peace will come over you, because even if you are in a room with unconscious people, you can see reality clearly as it is. So therefore you don't feel like you have to protect yourself. And this is a kind of freedom that cannot be taught by a psychiatrist. It is not something that is taking place in your psychology. It is an observer that is observing your whole psychology, but it's not changing anything about it, and therefore it's transcending your psychology. And when you are transcending your own psychology, you are simply becoming normal again. Not superhuman. I was watching this documentation, Wild Wild Country, and it felt like Osho was trying to make people aware of their ability to be watchful. But they treated him like a politician or a mighty person. And it's absolutely not about that. It's just you transcend all these, it's just some people are just so invested in status and the images of good and bad, and should and shouldn't, and right and wrong, and you are poor and you are rich and you are mighty and you don't have any power. It's just this whole, and they didn't even really capture what he was actually about. He was just seeing, they were just seeing him from their own filter that consists of their beliefs. But when you can actually see yourself, like being real with yourself and also observing your thoughts and your intentions and your reactions and your behavior, you're awake, you look at yourself, then there's the sense of freedom. And it's actually the end of suffering. Because what are we usually doing when we feel a sense that there is a tightness or suffering? There's like suffering in the chest area, and automatically we are trying to figure out what to do about it. So we are reacting to it, or we are suppressing it, but it's both a reaction. Either we become emotionally invested in life and we are trying to like be good people and are too emotionally involved, or we are trying to suppress it. So therefore we get a sense of being in control. I control my feelings, I control your feelings, I control my behavior, I control your behavior. It's like control. Or you just completely become a victim of nature and become too emotional. But there's also the way of simply watching what's going on inside of you, which means there is no, you don't require a method on how to regulate yourself. You simply watch what's going on. And this can be misunderstood because it sounds like laziness. It sounds like you're not doing anything, but actually you're just shining your light on the darkness. From the perspective of darkness, it looks strange. What is this person doing? So, and a lot of people were asking me what to do, like when someone's telling me that their life is full of triggers and people are mean, instead of protecting yourself, because people are running to a teacher because they feel like I don't feel protected and I want to go to the teacher, and the teacher is going to give me a method that makes me feel protected. But if it's a good teacher, then the teacher is going to tell you something that will destroy all of your defense mechanisms, just to make you see that there's nothing to defend. And that's when you look at yourself. Instead of protecting the unconscious, you look at the unconscious and you see that there's nothing to protect, so you don't feel defensive and you don't feel like you are in any danger. And then you're free. So instead of using meditation or spirituality as something that makes you feel protected, simply see that there is nothing that needs to be protected. Because life, you only live because life is appreciating you, obviously. So therefore you become one with life and you simply trust life instead of your self-image. And you're not being triggered. You're awake to your own triggers, and it's perfectly natural if there is still some reactive behavior, but you're simply watching your triggers and they become weaker and weaker. And you don't protect yourself. You simply see the ego in the other trying to attack the ego in you, but if there's nothing to catch in you, then they feel exposed. I hope you can follow me on that. It's like I have experienced this a lot at work. When a person at work is really invested and wants to control everything they do in the work, and there's like time pressure, then they become angry and invested, and then they see like you have done something wrong. They cuss at you suddenly, and they expect you to be reactive. But when you have done enough work in you, which means you're simply watching your own behavior, then somehow you can see that this person is so trapped in their fantasy of being a person in a stressful situation, and now there's this building up of the pain body and the ego, and it's just becoming big and big and big, and now all of a sudden they want to explode and just let it out on you. And there's nothing in you that reacts, and this person suddenly feels like they are exposed. It's like they feel stupid in a funny way. It's like you're non-reactive. You're doing what you're supposed to do, but you're not emotionally invested. So it's really, when you are watching yourself, when you have seen through the illusion of your thought identity, which is the ego, then you are seeing through all illusions, through all egos, and then you're free, completely free. You don't even require self-esteem or you don't even require courage to do certain things. Because you need self-esteem and courage only, self-esteem and courage are attributes that the ego likes. So it can move around in the world, show the world who I am. But you don't need that. You can just move around in the world without minding. You are free. It's like this burden, this ego, you can see that it's not real. The only thing that you have to do is watch it, and you will be free of the burden of being someone that needs to have a constant validation or protect itself, and being afraid and having to prove to others who you are, which is the cause of conflict. It's not required. Alright, that's all that came up today. So if you liked it, you can like this video, subscribe and leave a comment. And have a great day.